here in this prestigious Travancore Hall, Technopark, Trivandrum. This event has been organized by ICT Academy of Kerala, aiming to make you navigate your career journey with expert guidance. So we have a full-fledged agenda for this event. So we'll start this session by inviting Mr. Sreekumar K.V. to the stage for addressing the for delivering the welcome address. Please welcome. Can we have a loud round of applause for sir?
Thank you, Aswati. So we are starting 5 minutes earlier than actually what we planned. So thank you for all the participants and panelists. Most of the time, actually, the programs will get delayed actually. So ICT Academy always keeping a practice of starting the program on time. This time actually a bit advanced. Okay. Esteemed panelists, dear students, and my beloved ICTians, good evening and a very warm welcome to our industry readiness panel discussions titled Navigating Careers with Expert Guidance. So I'm very happy to see you all peoples because we are regularly meeting in our offices, but in this panel discussion, I'm very happy to meet you and appreciate your interest to be part of this. We are today here to support our students who are currently undergoing the Year 4.0 technology training program, especially on data science, cybersecurity, and full stack development on MERN. The training program is basically preparing the candidates for actually making them industry ready. So this specific interaction, we are planning to give some industrial insights to our candidates. We are incredibly fortunate to having with us a distinguished panel of industry leaders who are bringing a wealth of experience and insights. Please join me to welcome our panel members, Ms. Shilpa Menon, Center Head, Senior Director at USD, whose leadership and expertise in driving technological innovations and excellence have made her a respected figure in the industry. Mr. Selestin K. Thomas, a General Manager at Nissan Digital, who brings a invaluable experience in digital transformation and leadership in the automation industry. Welcome, sir. Anupkumar N, a Senior Manager at Zafin, whose deep understanding of fintech and financial service technologies will provide us with a unique insights in the future of digital finance. Each of the panelists have made a significant contribution to their respective fields, and their guidance today will be instrumental in helping our students to navigate their career. I encourage all of you to actively engage on the panel discussion and ask more questions. It may actually helping you to get a better understanding of the program. Once again, I welcome all the candidates and the panel members to this discussion. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful tone of today's evening. Sir, I would next like to welcome Mr. Manoj A.S. He is the head of Planning, Competency Development and Innovations of ICT Academy of Kerala. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mano A.S. to the stage. Please welcome.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Good evening. We interacted almost 1.5 hours, but I didn't find any change in your tone, the way you reciprocate. Good evening. Okay. Let us see. As this progresses, we will see your enthusiasm as well. So I am here to just give you or just introduce you to the context of this industry interaction. Usually we have this academy industry interaction which is happening as a part of ICT Academy of Kerala. We invite students from colleges of different disciplines to come in different places to interact with the industry leaders and champions to understand the latest things which is happening in industry. And as you know that even ICT Academy, we have a limb where there is an operating unit called as retail operating unit where we do train people or we have skilling programs on the latest IR 4.0 technology skills like the cybersecurity, FSD, data science, digital marketing, and so on, MLAI, etc. As you know that it's so, in one side, the flip side of it is like, usually some of the earlier leaders usually say that we should not need such skilling programs hereafter, because students who come out of their academic institutions should be well versed in what they have learned. But unfortunately, as our academy is not in pace with the industry, as well as the collaboration with the academic industry is for the namesake, as you know that even though there are plenty of associations happening, but the fruitness of that association is not going to be visible, and the outcome with regard to the associations is not happening. We were so fortunate to take people and train by ourselves, where we, one of the impact we do was like we invite industry champions to interact with them, so that there should be some difference which we create with regard to the other academic students, as well as the ICT Academy students. That's the reason why we usually have these type of programs in our treasure programs. And why this industry readiness? Maybe earlier, I think I have, when I interacted with you, I told you like you have learned a lot of domain skills as a part of our skilling program. But are you ready to really implement to solve real world problems? And whatever you learned as a skill set, it is very important that you have to really use in solving real world problems which can really impact to society. And most of the things which we see inside the classrooms as a, through a viewfinder with a simulated environment, is not like what we see outside. So it is very important that you have to really understand the nitty-gritty of the problem and how this can be really applied using your domain skill sets and other skills which I have told you. And this industrial readiness program really focus on to reinforce certain things. Number one is like, it's not just learning something without understanding the basics. Many people say that right now there is no need for learning basic things or the foundation knowledge or the foundation information. But I may say that the basic is very important. You should understand basic. And what we have seen, or very recently there was a study conducted by McKinsey, says that even this generation, the basic understanding of certain things is little bit on the lower side, which we have to really reinforce. Develop key skills. As you have to find out your core competency, and you have to develop your key skill sets. Then the practical experience. Even though skilling program, I cannot say that we don't give you practical experience. Skilling programs are here to give you the practical experience, where there are a lot of hands-on, and it should be a continuous learning. Usually we say that lifelong learning. And then about different certifications which can really help you to continue, and which will really help to reinforce whatever you have learned, and to have a future of your dream, which can really help yourself as well as organizations at large. Then the increased importance of digital and technical skills. As you know that earlier technology and technical skills was seen as a different thing, as a silos thing. But now you can see for everywhere, you can see technology which has been embedded, be it be arts, be it be science, be it be anything. Even if you want learn history also, without technology, your history skills or your knowledge is not going to be useful to you. Then about the gig and freelancing economy, maybe you can ask questions with regard to that, because nowadays the way the world has been changed, as well as the work culture has been changed, should be also known to you with regard to the gig as well as the freelancing. As you know that earlier, even we talk about this during the 2020 in the time of COVID, but even before that, even in US and all, you can see that around 35 to 37% of the people were inclined towards that, and they were using this freelancing and gig work as a part of their career. Then, as you know that you should ask this with your the industry people also. The data-driven hiring process. As you know that now data-driven hiring process becomes very important, and unless and until if you don't have anything to showcase, and the data speaks volumes, your probability of moving forward becomes very difficult. And then the next important thing is about creating an innovative mindset. I told you, like when you talk about the skill sets, I've already reiterated this many times, like World Economic Forum said, you should be good in applying your domain skills along with the 6 skill sets, which I said, like the critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, innovation, communication, and collaboration. And innovative mindset is something which can make you different from others, which you have to develop even in terms of your domain expertise also. What is the innovation quotient you bring in to solve the real world problem solving? And finally, the life skills or the soft skills, which is also very important. And as you know that there's a difference between life skills and soft skills, but at the same time, life skills tends to be most important for you, because maybe we are groomed in a situation or an environment where such things are not given much importance, or unfortunately you didn't get an opportunity to get it groomed with those skill sets, which also really help you. Because when you talk about life skills, people may talk about the leadership qualities, the communication skills, etc. And what we have seen is like people, even they are good in certain things, they are good in the hard skill part of it or the domain skill sets, but they don't know how to really polish it by using or implement it using your life skills. So these are some of the important areas which we have to focus on, and we also focus, ICT Academy also focus on these areas to really reinforce your skill set, so that you can be a challenging and a potential professional for the companies to work with. And these type of programs will really help ICT Academy also to bring in some of the interested candidates from different parts of the state as well as or even country, so that they can also learn and augment their skill sets where they can add value to society. So my humble submission to all of you sitting here is like, you have to make utilize next 1.5 hours. You should ask and questions. I don't think these people will speak more because, and I also honestly request them not to speak much, because it's your turn. You have to ask questions and you have to trigger these people to ask questions, and where you will get answers for that, because this is your future, right? Thank you. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that insightful words. So we'll move on to the next part of the session, that is the most integral part of the session, the panel discussion. And we are fortunate enough in having a group of accomplished professionals with us who will share their knowledge and wisdom and experience in helping you navigate your career path. To moderate the session, I would like to welcome Mr. Riji N, the Head of Knowledge Office, to the stage. Welcome, sir. Can we have a loud round of applause? Sorry. Next, let me introduce our panelists. Ms. Shilpa Menon, Center Head and Senior Director at UST. About Shilpa, she is a seasoned leader with extensive experience in IT and consulting. At UST, she leads strategic initiatives, fosters innovation, and enhances service delivery. Her high-performance coaching skills empower individuals and teams to achieve their goals. So we welcome Shilpa ma'am to stage. Please come. Welcome, ma'am. So the next person to be welcomed is Mr. Anupkumar N, Director, Business and Integration Services at Zafin. He is a senior management professional with 19 plus years of experience in implementation, consulting, and product management. At Zafin, he leads product and pricing consulting, delivering innovative solutions in pricing, billing, revenue management, and digital transformation for global clients. We welcome you, sir. Mr. Selestin Thomas, General Manager at Nissan Digital. He leads strategic digital transformation initiatives, driving innovation and efficiency in the automotive sector. His expertise, his expertise in digital strategy, process optimization, and leadership supports Nissan's journey toward a connected digital future. We welcome you, sir. So with that, I'm handing over the session to Mr. Riji N to share this engagement. And please give them all a big round of applause.
So thank you, Ashwati. So hello, everyone. Okay. So recently, I think on August 20th, 2 days back, Deloitte and NASCOM published a report. It actually is a very welcoming report. It shows that the AI opportunity, Indian AI opportunities will get doubled in the next 3 years. That by 2027, there will be around 12.5 lakhs requirement, skill requirement in India only. And currently it is 6 lakhs. So it is going to be doubled. But on the other side, they also said one more thing. Like one of the challenges they see on the as a flip side of it is the quality of the skill available in India. So what here we have two sides. You are the audience, and here is the panelist. When you look at the panelists put together, it is 75 years of experience. So give a big round of applause to the panelists. So it is good. The objective of the session, today's discussion is going to be, so how can we make you sit here in another 5 to 7 years time? So what we will be doing is we'll be discussing on or looking at the opportunities and challenges that will help you understand the real pathway to grab the opportunities in front of us, just like the NASCOM report I mentioned. We have shared a survey response with all the panel, but I think it's always nice to see it because you haven't seen that we all of you have filled your response, but you don't know how collectively how it looks like. Okay, so let me start with presenting the survey report so that everyone will have a look at, let's see, understand that how the audience and the different, you may be coming from different background, right? So that I think the panelists will also have a better understanding about the audience. So sorry because actually you have to switch back. One question was on the education background. So you actually, majority of you, more than 80%, 90% of you are from an undergraduate background. Like you completed your UG, just graduated and looking for opportunities. Along with that, some PG students and some of you already completed your PG as well. And looking at the other thing, like the stream that you represent, majority are of you from engineering background, like 66% of you are from engineering. But on the other side, you have certain amount of people from the science, and then some of you. So we have certain students from the from language, completed literature. So it's actually a heterogeneous group, I should say. So we have representation from different streams as well. And here ICT runs some certification program like Shilpa, you remember like before COVID, actually we inaugurated one batch in the UST campus. That was one of the initial batches of our course. And then actually we traveled a lot, and right now we have batches happening in 3 different locations. So these audience represents the southern region. So majority are from the southern districts of Kerala, and they are enrolled to 3 different programs. Manoj sir also was mentioning about that, like around 50% of they have enrolled to data science machine learning program. And there are students who are enrolled to cybersecurity and full stack development programs. So in the initial slide itself actually revealed that most of you are freshers, and there are some of you are having experience that you might have worked for 2 or 3 years, and it shows that how many of the division, but most of them are freshers looking for new opportunities. And this is actually the bifurcation of their geographical location. So since it is a southern zone training program, majority of are from the southern state, but good to have some people from Kannur and Calicut. They are staying in hostels and doing the training. Then in this panel, discussion is actually organized in different segments. So let me take a minutes to explain. Like, so there will be 4 iteration, I should say. So I'll be having 4 different segments. The first segment is actually a detailed introduction of the panel members. So Ashwini beautifully introduced all the individuals, but actually we would like to know a little more about all the panelists, and then to know more about their organization and their role in that organization. That will be the first round. So in the first round, I may be asking or I may be triggering them with some questions. And after that, we have a second round. In the second round, we will be talking about or discussing about the technology trend and those which all trends will open up new opportunities. So the second round segment is on the technology trends. And the third and fourth, the third will look at the skill requirement. Why should the industry, or what are the different skills the industry will be looking from people like you? So there I won't be asking any questions. So that round and the next round is purely on how will you shape your career. So how will you plan, even though you are enrolled or get admitted into a company, then how will you plan your career inside the company? So you have to ask and get the responses from the experts sitting in front of you. So these are the 4 rounds. So like Manoj sir said, hope that we can make it engaging. Hello? Ready, everyone? All right. So let me start with Shilpa. Shilpa actually is a person who has got more than 20 years of experience in the same company. It's a very strange thing. And it's a great achievement as well. So congratulations, Shilpa. And I think she's the best person to talk about university and your role as the center head of Trivandrum. So what do you?
Good evening, everybody. So nice to see all of you freshers getting ready to jump into the industry. I hope you maintain the energy and enthusiasm, and be whenever you get into the industry. Be active and in your careers and build your own careers. Thank you, ICT, for this opportunity and opportunity to have me in the panel and also meet with the co-panelist and it sitting here brings back a lot of memories because in the older times before we went to the campus, this used to be the most happening place with so many activities in and around this hall. We used to have so many sessions and events and all of that. So thank you for kind of bringing back all the memories. Uh, my name is Shilpa Menon. I am the center head for Trivandrum, but I also have the additional responsibility of being delivery head for the financial cluster that we have, which means that in the role of a center head, my responsibilities obviously is to take care of the center, the operations of the center, the customers who are coming in. I get the opportunity to talk with the customers, understand what's the strategies that they are following, what is that is coming for us, and all of that. And also to see how we can keep our people engaged, through the various engagement activities, through the various community activities, and all of that. That's my center head responsibilities. But I also have the responsibility of being a direct delivery head for the financial cluster, where I have to manage the in and out daily work of managing project deliveries to various customers under that cluster, right? So in that capacity, I also have the opportunity to meet with the customers, discuss on what's their year looking like and all of that. So it gives me a lot of insight into what the industry is going to be and what are they looking at and think, and how are we going to be, or how should we going to be getting ready for the future. So these are the two responsibilities. UST, so I'm part of UST for the last 25 years. This year we celebrate our 25th anniversary. And UST is, I don't know if most of you know or do not know, UST is an organization and it's one of the largest employers in the state of Kerala. What we do is we work on transformation activities for our customers, customers, and our community around us through the power of technology. And we formed in 1999. We have about 30,000 plus employees. We have spread across in 30 different countries, headquartered in California and United States. We work with almost all of the Fortune 500 Global 1000 companies across all of the verticals, or most of the verticals, be it retail, healthcare, financials, manufacturing, automotive, semiconductor, your public sector. So these are our customers working in these sectors. And like I said, 30 different countries. In India, we have 10 centers. Trivandrum being the largest center. And we are very happy that we built technologies that is transforming our customers and in turn their customers. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Shilpa. Like she mentioned, I think all of you know that Technopark Trivandrum is the first Technopark in India, and USG is one of the first companies in this Technopark, and so just completed 25 years. A good achievement. So representing one of the top fintech companies, and which is actually a neighbor company of ICT Academy, Zafin. So I know if I would like to hear from you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I just want to start with where Mr. The person actually started with introducing everyone, right? Be active in this session. It is all yours. You must ask questions. Only then you will actually get the answers, right? So, starting with what Zafin is. Zafin is a fintech organization, right? Banking, we work in the banking sector, purely in the banking sector, and we make customer experiences more delightful, right? I am using these words very carefully because of the fact that there is always a difference between something that you like and something where there is delight, right? You can actually like something, you can actually get more delight from something, right? And we want to actually make the banking experience more delightful for the customers. And that is where we work for. We create solutions for banking, which actually eases the entire customer experiences, gets the banking to more customers. Customers have their own personalized products and services that they can actually get from the banks, right? And banks obviously make revenue out of what they are actually doing, right? So that's where Zafin is actually involved into. Now, typically when we come into the space of IT, the major thing that you would have actually looked at is that you create softwares, right? Now, one thing that is most important is that why do you create a software? That is very important, right? And we create the software to make these customer experiences more easy, more delightful for the entire banking experience. Whoever is actually involved in that banking experience will go through who all are involved in that experiences, right? Now, in terms of what Zafin does, so there are different ways of doing innovation. So Zafin actually chose the way of doing innovation through products, right? You can actually have different ways of innovation. One of the major mechanism is that you can actually have innovative banking products, right? Back 20 years back, when I went to a bank and wanted to actually open an account, I was only given two options. Yeah, you want a savings account or you want a current account, right? Today I am given a 20-page booklet saying that which all type of account I need to open, right? So this 20 pages of information is nothing but the innovation that the bank actually creates through its products. They try to understand their customers, their needs, their different capabilities and instruments that they need to do the banking, right? And that is all powered through what we actually do at Zafin, right? We create a platform, or we have a platform which allows your bankers to define and create innovations around your product journey, right? And how you can actually create more value to the end customer. That can be even seeing that customer as a personalized entity, right? And that's what we do at Zafin, right? And around this area, you need technology, right? Irrespective of whatever area that you work in, today you need technology. And banking is one such area which has actually used the technology to the last extent, whatever is actually possible. And there is more to come, right? And data plays a very huge role in this entire thing. We'll come to that in later discussions, but that's what we do at Zafin, right? And we have innovative products that we create. So we are a product-based company. We don't actually really do services. We do services as part of our offering, but we are generally a product company, right? Which means that we create products, right? So we have products in the same space, which is on the digital transformation and core transformation area, or business transformation area, which can actually relieve all these incapabilities that the typical core systems do possess, right? And work around as a mechanism where people can actually do innovations around their banking space. So that's where we actually work, right? We also ensure that there is a terminology that we use, right? We say that we assure your revenue, right? There is a huge difference between your ability to actually have revenue versus assuring that you will actually get revenue, because you can actually see that entire journey through your eyes. right? That is how technology actually allows you to create products, and that actually helps the entire value chain to be delivered to the delivered end to end. So that's what we do, right? Now, introducing myself, I started, very similar to, most of you have actually started. I am an engineer by education. Started, probably 20 years, 19, 20 years ago. With the same exquisiteness, I actually used to, go in front of the Technopark, but yeah, entry to a Technopark or activities like this would be limited at that point of time, right? The places where you can actually get industrial training would used to be Keltrons, right? VSSCs of the world, and then some other organizations. But Technopark generally was not actually used to kind of entertaining that kind of an activity. But over a period of time, including Zafin, we have seen that there are a lot of interns that actually join us. They actually bring a lot of industry experience from their side. You will ask what a fresher can actually bring from an industry experience point of view, right? People actually take a lot of courses today, right? They actually get used to a lot of information on the channels, right? Internet as a channel, right? They actually bring a lot of energy into the room, right? So we also get a lot of experience out of that. So what I would still say that, ask a lot of questions, be energetic, and yeah, let's have a good session today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anu. So the innovations that actually banking is one sector where we experience the innovations directly, because earlier we used to stand in queues to get the transaction done. Right now we can do the transaction in our fingertips. Okay, so thank you, Anu. Nissan is a company is very, we ICT Academy had a emotional connect, because our current chairman, Dr. Tony Thomas, is instrumental in setting up the Travancore campus, and we are happy to have a representative from Nissan. So, Selestin, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. And it's my pleasure and privilege to be on the dais, because I should have been there in your chair. I am still a student. I'm learning, but I am here. So let me start with the breaking the rule. Dr. Manoj A.S set in. He heard what he's telling the panelists should not talk more, and that with his permission, let me go ahead with that. So as he said, Nissan Digital, we started operating from Trivandrum from 2018. And Nissan Digital is a software development wing of Nissan Motor Limited. You know the cars, right? So Nissan has three digital hubs across the globe. One is in Mexico, another is in Budapest, and third is in India, in Trivandrum. So we develop a software for using in the car, the connected car sector, as well as the plants which are used across the globe for manufacturing the cars. And about me, and I am heading cybersecurity, digital technology, which is essentially about the cloud and cloud technology, and also infra, which is typically IT infra. All three big pains are the one which I am shouldering it. And I have nearly 25 years of experience, and I started my career with the Air Force, and I joined the Air Force as a graduate. And from there, I still remember in 1995, while I was in Srinagar, a special chartered flight, an aircraft, Air Force flight was chartered for me to take 50 MB hard disk to upgrade to 1 GB in Delhi. And have you ever seen 286, 386 model of computers? Have you ever seen it, at least pictures? That was the one which I started working with the DBase, COBOL, etc. I don't know whether you heard about DBase and COBOL. We were the king when the WordStar, right? When we started working with WordStar. So that time we were all king there, right? So that was the time, and we transformed from that area, and now I am here heading these three different areas. It gives me a lot of privilege, as I said, and I'm still a learner, and this is something, a message I wanted to give you, right? And you retire when you stop learning. So you can decide what age you want to retire. You want to retire at the age of 20 or 80 or 100. The moment you start learning, you're retiring. So keep learning, and that is the motto of Riji has set in, right? How you can continuously learn. Dr. Manoj also was telling, like, industry connect and education connect, and how you can see what's the learning or disruptive technologies around you and equip you, right? One of the practice which you have seen before is that after 10+2, you go for entrance. So those who are brilliant in studies go for entrance, and the top one get computer science, BTech, right? And you pass BTech and come out, and what next? So that was bigger vacuum we had, the vacuum of what's the expectation of the industry and what you are, right? So that is where ICT is coming and bridging that gap. Industry Academy Connect, a wonderful idea, wherein you can understand what are the technologies happening around and where you want to be and what are the things which you learn so that you can meet the expectation of leading industries around you. That is where we create a talent pool. One of the problem which we all face here, probably you know or don't know, is the talent problem in Trivandrum as for Kerala. We don't get the right candidate. You will disagree because you will say that we have too many BTech candidates here, right? So that is where this gap, which I mentioned, is coming in. That is where ICT is playing a crucial role there, bridging the gap. I wish the best, and I'm ready to take all the questions as well. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Celestin. From a soldier who protected us and now protecting the virtual boundaries of the systems network, you are into that. Okay, the first round, I think, all of you got a clear idea about the panelists, so you can ask specific questions to the panelists in the coming rounds. And before moving to the second round, let me tell you a bit about the kind of scaling they are undergoing. And I told you that all these members are enrolled to a certain training program, whether it is in data science or a cybersecurity or a full stack development. What they do is in a 3 months time, we'll be taking them through the life cycle. If it is a full stack, it is a software development life cycle. Cybersecurity is a cybersecurity life cycle. If it's a data science, is a data science life cycle. So we let them go through all the different levels or the different stages and understand the activities or the processes they have to follow in each phase and experiment the different tools, then come up with a product. And the product should be once they develop a machine learning model, it has to be hosted and then see it from a user perspective. Okay, that kind of experience that actually we provide them during the training. And then the training is followed by a capstone project where they get an opportunity to do a similar task in a different problem statement. Because this is the kind of model that we have adopted. And once they completed these two levels, then finally we'll be providing them with an internship so that they get a real-time project and then understand and minimize the gap between the industry and their learning. And so right now they are in the middle of their learning phase and some of them are already moved into the project phase. So let me come to the second round. Here we will talk about the technology trends. I think all of us are experiencing the trends that we see around. And it's good like to hear from these individuals having years of experience and then their perspective is slightly different. So let me start with Shilpa again. What are the different changes or trends that you have observed in the last 6 to 12 to 18 months time from a UST perspective?
Yeah. So I'll cover mostly the UST perspective, and with other panelists, I think you'll get a all-rounded information or trending from that perspective. But as a matter of fact, technology trends are ever evolving, right? What you see now is not what you see in next 6 months or next 1 year. So it is very important, again, emphasizing on, keep on learning. So that's an emphasis that I think everybody who all are speaking here has been emphasizing, that is to start, keep on learning. Look at what is coming up. What are the technologies that are coming up? How is it going to help us? How is it going to help the customers? But more importantly, how is it going to impact me as a person? Will I be irrelevant in the industry? Will I have to reskill? Will I have to pivot myself and learn something new? So that's something that all of us, the technologists, will have to continuously do. And like Manoj was saying, it's a lifelong learning. Even after retirement, Celestin, I think that we should keep learning. Otherwise, you will sometimes you feel out of the place or out of the world. So from a UST or from a IT sector perspective, some of the technologies that we see coming are, the first one, without any guess, is definitely the generative AI. Right, so generative AI is creating or will have an impact on almost all of the sectors, be it a financial, retail, manufacturing, everywhere, wherever it is, you will see generative AI being the forerunner in the technology trending. And as Celestin was saying, we lack the talent on generative AI, and that is where currently every industry or every company is struggling, which is to get talented people in generative AI. So all of us, all of the companies are now running around and training people, and making them ready, making them understand as to what can they do to look at the client problems. And even the customers, right, they come and ask, how can you help us in using the generative AI? Because they understand that generative AI is going to reduce their cost, improve on productivity. They, or even all of us, right, using generative AI, decision making is becoming very easy. You are becoming more agile. You can, Manoj was telling, you can recruit and retain people because using the generative AI. So there are the benefits of generative AI is seen all around. So that's one technology that clearly stands out, even though the organizations are struggling to get the talent, find the right talent, but that is going to be the front runner in terms of the technology that's going to create an impact around us. Second, in my opinion, not my opinion, but what we see around is the cloud computing. So most of our customers, to reduce the cost also, they are moving away from the traditional data centers and moving everything, every product, every systems of theirs into the cloud. So you need to understand the cloud better as a developer. So that's something that we are seeing now. Once we move into the cloud, there are also it does not end with just moving into the cloud. Then the question is, how can you optimize the cloud? How can you do this security operations around the SecOps around the cloud? So all of that. So the cloud computing is going to be the next. It's not in any particular order, but these are some of the technology trends. And third one, I'm sure some of you are learning, which is the cybersecurity. There is a lot of cyber crimes happening in and around us. Most of us are some way or the other impacted in some form of the other. So understanding how you can help, businesses to save businesses to help by being not, attacked by the cyber crimes is something that is coming up. The next, I think, would be DevOps and the Agile methodologies. Like in every Agile, like we have moved away from the way we develop our softwares, we develop our products and platforms. It is not that you have a very concrete set of requirements and then you work on it. The requirements will come today, it will come tomorrow morning, and you will have to implement those changes into the system. So the system need to be built in such a way that you can take up requirements, you can introduce a new piece of code, but not just that, right? You have to put it in the production also. So the entire continuous integration, continuous development, the agile practices, the collaboration, being flexibility, all of that comes into the picture. Data science and data engineering. Many of you are getting trained on that, but that's something that is going to be very, very helpful or creating an impact, because every customer has a lot of data and they want to look at the data and use the data in a way that they can help with their consumers and customers. They want to pivot the data, use the data in such a way that they can sell a customized product to to the customers and consumers. So data, how you analyze the data, and so all of that of the data engineering, and that is going to be very key in the technology. Um, IoT is still we see as an important thing. I'm sure the automotive industry is also looking at it, but not just the automotive. But if you look at, there are cities, there are countries who are looking at the IoT information, like for example, the data from the electric lines, the electric meters, the data from maybe garbage bins and all of that, to come up with good decision making in such a, so that the city or a country can be cleaned, and they come up with or have a great life for their citizens. So IoT is something that is that we are seeing, and we are helping with customers in around that space. The other one that we see around is the wearable devices, right? I'm sure all of you are wearing or have seen the devices which are worn by all of us. I mean, to track our calories, track our steps, track our heartbeats, pulse rates, and all of that. But things are moving more. There is lot of advancement in the wearable devices as well. Like for example, the rings that are coming up. You can open and close smart doors by knocking on the ring. You can make payments with just a swipe on the ring, and all with using the finger that you're wearing on the ring. You can even start the vehicle using just knocking on that vehicle, or so there are different options. Even so, that's a generic one, but there are specific IoT use of IoTs, like for example, you have for the runners and marathoners, you have socks which are built with IoT devices, which can actually tell you whether your running posture is right, whether you are inclined to have you are inclined to have problems with your knees and all of that, right? Injury issues are going to be there or not. So the IoT devices is another area there where we see a lot of things. But other than that, we see a lot of progress and a lot of happening in and around life sciences, biosciences, and the latest one being ESG, which is an environment, social, and governance area. So those are some of the things that we see are making trend with our customers, and what's coming in for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Shilpa. I think all the technologies that Shilpa mentioned is familiar to you. So even though you are enrolled to one particular technology or learning one technology, and you understand that for a real life system, it should have every layers. Like there should be a security layer, there should be analytics layer. So even though you are dealing only with the data, so you should have the other layers to be there. So coming to Anup, actually you are a person, an engineer turned into a problem solver in a company, then developed applications, went through the software development life cycle, then become an enterprise architect. But looking at this, like I mentioned, that is here the full stack development team, they will be going through all these phases like collecting requirements, designing, implementing, testing, deploying. And where you see that trend right now, what are the different trends that you or your organization is?
Yeah, thanks, Riji. I think you mentioned a very important term. It's a problem solver, right? So I had one of my ex-CEOs who actually wanted to even give the name as problem solver 1, 2, 3, that kind of a role, right? It doesn't really matter whether you are actually a business analyst sitting somewhere, you are actually a technology person sitting somewhere, or you are actually doing delivery or any such thing, project management, program management, whatever you do, you are solving a particular problem. Then isn't it better that we actually say all of us are actually problem solvers, right? So yeah, it has its own advantage, and yeah, it has its own disadvantages as well. But essentially, the message here is that you must actually add value to whatever you are doing, right? The second thing is that you must solve a problem that somebody else is not able to solve, right? And technology is in this case just an enabler, right? Your technologies would actually keep on changing. So I don't know, many of them will not be actually used to seeing people coding on Oracle databases, right? And how we used to actually understand Oracle database is carrying the primer, Oracle 9i, 7i primer to Office, look at the syntax, and that is how we used to actually code, right? Any of you do that? No, right? You are actually so technology is democratized, right? The second example in this case is that when we used to actually have implementations, the example that Shilpa mentioned, right? So every client would actually have a problem. We actually go to the customer, understand their problem, sit around them, finalize the solution, and then we need to give the solution to them, right? Now, solution, if it is an IT, then you need machines, right? You need to actually get the servers and the stuff like that, right? Typically, server acquisition would take, if it depends on the size of the acquisition, but it would actually typically take around 6 to 8 months for the entire paperwork to get completed, for the vendor, maybe it a Dell or HP or whoever is there, to actually provide that server to the bank, right? Bank or any other provider for that matter. Now, and that would take around 6 to 8 months. We are a SaaS provider to the bank, right? The moment we actually sign a contract with the customer, or in the next 3 days, we have to give a login to the customer saying that this is how you actually access the machine, right? How would you do that? And that goes back to the democratization of the IT framework itself, right? You get the machines available on cloud. You need to mention what do you want, right? What is your use case? What is the kind of people or the number of users you want in that instance? And yeah, you have it. You deploy your software, and that again is packaged. So in the blink of the eye, or when you are actually asleep, the deployment will be completed, and you will get a notification that the deployment is completed. And even the client can also get it, right? Once you get it, and you can actually log in. So it is just establishing a connectivity, and that would take between 3 days to probably a week or so for you to actually just get access to the software, right? You don't need to actually sit and worry about 6 months of hardship to put all the forms there and the stuff like that to get the servers. Neither you are actually worried that okay, something went wrong. I actually purchased something higher in nature, and now what do I do with this, right? That is also not there. Or something is actually less. I need to actually spend another 6 months to actually wait for the other servers to arrive, right? So again, that is also not there, right? You actually get it on demand. You scale down, you scale up, you use whatever the way you want to use. You can spin up environments the way you want. There is a cost around it, but that is actually much lesser than the cost of owning that entire framework, right? So this is how the IT has actually changed the entire transformation process, right? And typically, it is all that is what we say. IT is an enabler. Your business use case, the actual use case or the problem that you are solving, is sitting somewhere else. So what you need to, as engineers, right? One thing that we actually typically kind of go and give more important is that okay, what kind of technology am I using, right? That is not the real thing that you need to really worry. You need to worry about what is the exact use case or the problem that you are solving, right? So going back to the examples with what Shilpa mentioned, right? In our space, AI for that matter and Gen AI obviously has its own merits, right? In terms of a banker coming in front of the machine and saying that, okay, today I want to actually ideate and create a new product, right? A new savings product. Now that savings product must actually have so and so capability, so and so features. It must actually give customers, it must be available through X number of channels. It must be actually available, for operations through X number of mediums, right? These are all capabilities that somebody can actually have a conversational AI platform, right? Where he can actually put in his requirements through, and there are natural algorithms that can actually process that request and create a product of his liking, right? And further, what he does is that he just says that, okay, I approve the creation of the product, right? This is where it actually helps us today. Conventionally, this process would actually take, and you will not believe, any price change that you actually typically will get the mails from your banks, right? Saying that, okay, there is a price change effective 1st of September, right? The work for that would have actually started 6 months before. They would keep on analyzing the end customers, try to understand if increasing the price would ensure that the competitors actually take away the business, right? Regulators, will they actually pounce on them? So there is a whole lot of process that is linked around changing a simple price of a product, right? That is not there today. We have the data around it. The banks are ready to share the data to an extent where the regulators allow them to do that. So once that is there, these decision management process or decision making process is heavily influenced and it is actually simplified. So to give an example, an annual review process of the price, right? So you actually see that every year banks change prices, right? For some products, for sure. That actually typically takes around 6 to 7 months. Now the power of technology allows you to do that in a week's time, right? And that is not because of technology taking a week to execute this entire process, but it's because of the fact that there are approvals required, regulatory confirmations required, and the stuff like that. But a weeks to 2 weeks of process, this can be established, right? So what is the business problem that we are solving is more important, right? And we have seen, at least all the organizations that we represent, we have seen that this same problem would have been actually solved from probably 1 year to 8 months in a cycle. It would have been actually changed from 8 months to 6 months, 6 months to 3 months, and there were actually different technologies that were actually used in many of these scenarios. So your use case is actually very important. Your problem that you're solving is very important. The other thing that I want to say is that typically your technology, and you will read it from all the publications that if you want to really go through, it is actually based on your adoption mechanism, right? So your adoption level of maturity of adoption, right? And if you really see, something that is at the frontier of all the adoption is your space technology, right? People have actually started thinking outside the boundaries of Earth and trying to see what can be additionally achieved from a space, right? So there is a lot of use cases that you can actually find it, and Trivandrum is one such place where you have all these available together, right? There are companies within Technopark who actually specialize on space technologies, right? And the information is available on the web, right? As data scientist or data enthusiast, you have equal access to that data. You can build your products around that. It all depends on whether you identify that as a problem or not, right? So similarly, in the banking space, that is what we do. We have the AI and the Gen AI actually being used heavily to reap the rewards. Today, we don't actually, over a Teams channel. Teams is a communication platform that is provided by Microsoft. Similar to how we would have actually chatted with our buddy, we actually ask question to the chatbot, and chatbot actually gives us the responses on the capabilities of the product. We don't actually sit and read through 100 pages of manuals and the stuff like that across a functionality to see if it actually matches the requirements and the stuff like that. And that's very prevalent. It's not something that just we do. It's something that is done by most of the organizations, right? So Gen AI, cloud computing, and this stuff, it's bread and butter, right? And then you actually get into the other parts of the things, right, where you can expand the entire banking experience over wearables, channels. Customers can actually have a generative AI experience, etc., etc. So there are different use cases that you typically solve, but essentially you need to actually understand a particular problem that you need to solve and then use the technology. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Anup. So incidentally, Kerala has the first space park also. The K space is here in Kerala. So what do you, Celestin?
Yeah, before I start, let me do a pulse check. Are we all talking the language which you can understand? I'm not talking about English as a language. Because all my previous sessions used to be with the technology leaders, etc. So we go in that level. But you heard all this to Anuba and Shilpa saying, do I need to tone down or do you understand that language or not? Is it okay? Okay. So let me just ask a question. I took a declaration in the beginning that I should have been there because I'm still a student, right? Let me ask from what you learned from or heard from Shilpa and Anup, what are the two things which was happening the last 5 years? Let me take the left side. Any answer?
So you can switch on the mic.
Two things from if you summarize what they said. Right side. Okay. Maybe I can summarize. I was listening to them both. One is technology, right? And second, Shilpa also highlighted in the last, security, cyber security, right? Anup just supported that area as well. If you all agree, in this fast changing business landscape, technology is the cornerstone of a digital transformation. In the last 5 years, we have seen phenomenal increase in the evolution of technology, and the adoption was fast. Do you agree with me or not? Take 5 years back, right? So its adoption is quite quick, and we are looking at what all the technology which is available there to solve the problem for us. So if you look at the manufacturing industry, automation is the key when we look at the floor managers labs. So we look at what are the areas, the mundane activities which they can automate it through RPA, the new age technology like RPA, machine learning, artificial intelligence, IoT, etc. We have been witnessing a unprecedented acceleration of technology adoption in the last 5 years. Right? So I represent the car manufacturing, and in the car manufacturing, there had been paradigm shift in the manufacturing sector. So you all agree that cars are now turned to be computer on four wheels, right? So you'll get everything there. The connected car segment, it will continue to grow. It is now gone are the days when you need to look at the log books to schedule your car maintenance. Do you agree with me or not? Right? This connected car industry will further grow, and it will remove the human elements in the operating model of the car. That's the reality. What technology like Shilpa and Anup brought in is the technology is also removing one beautiful thing. It's also transforming the one beautiful thing, man-machine relationship. Right? The concept of master-slave relationship, man turn on and machine does, that relationship is transforming because machines have accumulated certain level of intelligence by themselves thanks to artificial intelligence, machine learning. So human and machine now complement each other to increase the productivity and performance. Yeah, Shilpa also brought it out. The skilling, reskilling, this is going to be the strategic decision for the management to take it forward. So in the way forward, this is the few things which we need to look at. What is the disruptive technologies happening around? Right? And also I talked about cybersecurity. The last 5 years, cybersecurity segment has gone for paradigm shift. Do you know the reason why? Why the cybersecurity has increased last 5 years? Any idea? You could have listened to them. They said technology is coming into your fingertips. Shilpa said wearable gadgets, right? Technology is right in front of you. Earlier, cyber criminal used to attack the perimeter firewall of an organization. Now the perimeter has moved out from the typical, the four walls of the office to the home, right? And you also have the smartphones with you. The change what is happened is these two things. Our way of life, due to the technology, the way of life, the way we work, the way we communicate, the way we collaborate, as Anup mentioned, right? Way we collaborate, it's all changed. So this change is being exploited by the cyber criminals. What changes happened to you is that now you are going to the cyber criminals and exposing themselves, rather they come to you. Do you agree with me or not? Right? So these are the few the last 5 years what I see look back, this cyber security is becoming more and more important. I never had a CISO when I started my IT career 25 years back. The CISO started working last 15 years, and they become an important element of organization now. You cannot have an organization with the cyber security. You cannot have an organization with the CISO there, right? Because cyber security is again evolving because the cyber criminals are one step ahead than us. Remember that. And it is easier to hire cyber criminals than you, all of you. So that isn't this. We need to keep our eyes open, which are the technologies disrupting the across the world. right? So to sustain in this fast-moving world is to look at the disruptive technologies happening around the world and prepare yourself to acquire the skills to adopt this technology in their organizations, right? So some of the technology which I mentioned, if I am coming very specific to my industries, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and IoT, they are playing crucial role in the automobile industry. When I walk into the plant, I can see many AGVs, automated guided vehicles, move around with the plant. You know the cars, right? Approximately 200 to 300 cars goes out from the plant every day, and the cars are going into the train, the power train. That it moves. It doesn't stay there where engineer go and fix it. Probably you would have visualized something in your video or somewhere, right? It moves. It and engineers stay, and they need to connect this right part at the right time. It is not the particular model of a car goes in. A different complexity of cars are, I mean, it's more complex, less complex, different color. That is how the train goes, right? And who provides the right item? Approximately how many components are there or items are in the car? You all drive the car, right? Do you ever thought of it? 30,000. And how many parts are there? Nearly 2,000, 1,800 to 2,200. It varies. So in the car, when it moves, this in the powertrain, who goes and provides the right item at the right space? It's automated guided vehicles, completely autonomous. They just move around, pick up the right one from the store and goes and provide it. When I walk in, I can see the way the discipline they moves out, and they're well self-sustained. The moment that their batteries drained out, they park the items in the powertrain. They goes out to the charging station, charge themselves, and come back. Right. So that is an area, that is the speed at which the technology is working, and it also exposes cybersecurity. These are edge devices, we call it as, right? So cybersecurity is now moved away typically from our office premises to edge devices and to your home. So this has disrupted the world. So these are the few technology which you as a person aspiring to get into a companies and the new industries can look into.
Okay, thank you, Celestin. Actually, I have a follow-up question. So while I was going through your profile, there was an interview. I happened to watch that interview, and in that, you define right solution, and you define right solution as something that doesn't change, doesn't go obsolescence in the near future. What is the span of near future in the recent times?
So that's I think it brings me in another idea, like the question: what is the time frame which you are looking at when obsolescence happens? As I said, started with my conversation, its technology landscape is moving fast. Now here, what you want to do is you need to understand one thing, that what you know today will not help you for tomorrow. So that is where we need to get prepared yourself, learning and upskilling and yourself. You need to create a culture of humility, create a culture of learn, unlearn, and relearn. Then only we can absorb the new technologies which is happening, and the time frame which we all talk about is yesterday. So we all need to look at this as an one area. So when I talk, coming back to my industry and my area, what I talk about is the cloud literacy, etc. Right? So cloud literacy is also going into different dynamics now. You all had, like initially when we are talked about digital transformation, going to the cloud. That was the first thing as a milestone for a digital transformation. Then it came multi-cloud, right? Now there are multi-clouds are there. It created a complexity of managing clouds in different area. But have you ever seen the multi-cloud environment? Have you ever worked it or heard of it at least as a student? Right? Have you ever heard of multi-cloud? I think I heard a Sadhya today. So that's why I was taking too many water to make myself comfortable. But I hope you're all understanding what we are talking about. Multi-cloud is an environment where you have one type of cloud meeting one particular workload. Then you have another one, because this cloud services providers offer unique services, which that is why we go for particular cloud. So it could be for the unique services, or it could be for the cost effectiveness. But what is now happening is that interoperability of application across multi-cloud, that is coming as a challenge now. Have you ever heard about Lambda? Okay, what is Lambda? Pardon? Okay, it's a serverless. Okay, have you ever created an application in the Lambda and can you try to port it to Azure or GCP? No, right? So that is where we are getting into the trouble where multi-cloud is becoming a complexity. Now, we all as a technology leaders, when we try to look at new technology into the organization, but we all look into it doesn't lead to the fragmented strategy approach. What does it mean? The system or the technology that is bringing doesn't create a cohesive strategy challenges. Right? You all remember what happened to the Kodak. Kodak was a leading imaging or photography industry leader. What happened to them is that so they had a 1,000 plus imaging patent to them. Do you believe that? And still they failed it. So they had a siloed strategy and they failed to absorb their digital strategy. Rather, due to stakeholders' pressure, they focused on the traditional imaging industry. And what it resulted is that they failed to convert their digital assets to their revenue streams. And it is gone. Right. So as we all technology leaders within the company, we take utmost care. The rush in bringing new technology doesn't cause strategic drift, right? So we need to understand why this technology is coming in and what the purpose of it, right? So keeping all this together, so the learning is or understanding about the new technology is pretty important to understand what is happening around, what is your digital transformation strategy, is the resources are really available, skilled resources are available, do you really want to go multi-cloud? When you go to the multi-cloud, do you have the resources to support them? What about your applications cohesiveness, interoperability, right? So these are the few challenges which we are undergoing and which I wanted to throw it across to you also as a learning mechanism. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Celestine. So sometimes some of the words might not be familiar with you because you may be studying in one stream and may not be familiar with other terms, but please have a note of that. Most probably in the next few months' time, you will definitely have a look at all these technologies. So moving on to the next round. So let me tell you, I know that most of you are keeping silent and definitely you will be asking questions. So it's a matter of time. And icing the break is the most difficult thing, right? Asking the first question is the most difficult thing. Okay, who is going to do that? In the next phase, actually, what you will be doing is right now you may be having you have certain skills, right? Through the training, you may be developing some core skills, and as an individual, you have gained some skills during the course of your learning. And but whether you should ask this question, so all these skills are enough for me to crack the opportunities available. And these are the leaders, they know, so they will be, or their team will be recruiting people like you. So they can easily tell you what are the skills that you have to shape, you have to polish in the next few months' time to cross the hurdle. Okay? Who is going to start? Yeah. Don't look at others, just start.
Switch on the mic and start.
Yeah. There are prizes waiting for you. Ashwati has got a lot of gifts
Okay.
there. Yeah, thank you.
So I have a question for Ms. Anu. So it's a product-based company, right? And then so meeting with the clients, regular meet with the clients are required, right? So is there a time when you face difficulties from the clients and with that product? Is there any?
Yeah, so good question, right? And I would actually tie it back to what Mr. Celestin said, right? See, we as Keralites, we are actually proud of being an 100% literacy state, right? But similar aspect applies to what we call as technical literacy, right? Why me and you can actually speak to each other is because of that we can actually understand English, right? We can also converse in Malayalam, right? Or we can actually converse in Hindi as well, right? Similar aspect is required in any conversation that you do with customer, right? Now, when you do a conversation with customer, you need to actually have two skills, right? In our case, one is you need to actually know the banking knowledge, right? Banking and financial industry knowledge. The second aspect is need to know the technology knowledge, right? So the technical language and functional language or business language, both these things are equally important when it comes to deploying a product in a customer premise, solving their problems of today as well as anticipating a problem of tomorrow, right? So this is technology literacy is actually extremely important. I cannot actually go with the terminology of the past, right, and actually have a good conversation with the customer saying that, okay, I am capable of solving your problem, right? If the customer is actually looking at, say for example, if a bank, they are actually looking at solving a problem of instant payments, I cannot actually go and give them a solution which is actually a batch payment. You can actually get your credit in 2 hours time, right? Even if it is 15 minutes also, nobody will actually accept it, right? So I need to actually understand first and foremost what are the technologies available, both from a functional point of view, business point of view, whatever is available. Second thing is that what is the exact technology that could enable this thing to actually happen, right? So all these are actually very important. And about the difficulty part of it, right? We all, if you actually ask me, yes, we actually have difficulty in actually having the conversation with the customer, because some of the requirements might not be something that neither we can meet or somebody else could actually meet it, right? Or it might be not consistent. The requirements might not be consistent with something that the customer would have asked in his department versus somebody else's would have asked, right? So there are a lot of such concerns that would actually come in, but obviously there would be a solution to a solution that would be agreeable to both customer and us.
Okay, so can you tell your name?
I'm Stephen.
Stephen. Okay, thank you.
I will add one aspect to it. In addition to the technology and the domain skills, while communicating with the customer, your communication skills also play a very, very important role. How you tell a problem statement or problem solution to a customer, how you present it, all of that makes is a very key role, plays a very key role. And not just customers, right? The communication within the team is very key. Communication with all stakeholders, be it with your manager and all of that, right? Being assertive, but at the same time not aggressive, is something that we will all have to deal with when we talk with the customers. The customers can be very rude, the customers can be very illogical, but how do you keep the calm and try and explain them, right? This is the way that we will do, or this is the solution that I have, is plays a very important role.
Okay, thank you, Shilpa. So it's yeah, switch on.
Hello. Hello.
Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Mohammed Altaf. I'm currently studying cybersecurity in ICTAK. My question is to Mr. Selestin sir. According to your view, how do you see the current future of cybersecurity in the next 5 years, especially in the Indian country, and also how AI and cybersecurity match up with each other? Is there any threat for AI in the case of cybersecurity or anything like that? Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. And so let me just take the second one, whether artificial intelligence will replace cybersecurity or will it be a challenge to that, etc. So the technology introduction, the new age technology like artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc., is going to replace certain human roles. That's true, and it happened in the past also. And evolution cannot happen without a change. It will be there, right? The change need to happen with the human mindset, right? We need to continuously learn and upskill yourself. That is the one which we need to take forward. And regarding the cybersecurity, the scope, right? So I just want to take a cue from Shilpa mentioned. She mentioned about DevOps and Agile, etc. Right? So DevOps and Agile, it talks about what is it, how fast you can deliver the code to the production. That is what the summary of DevOps and Agile is, methodology. Probably you would have been studying that, right? And what is now transforming the DevSecOps, how securely how the clean code you can bring it to the production. That is where cybersecurity and DevOps is now merging together and bringing a new area called DevSecOps. This is going to continue. The SaaS, static access testing and dynamic testing, the moment production application goes into the production, it's called dynamic penetration testing. We call it dynamics testing, and static testing, which happens before the code goes into the production. So the SaaS appears to be quite economical and most efficient in terms of DevSecOps. Container security, that is evolving in DevSecOps. Coming to the cybersecurity, as in like there you have vulnerability and access penetration testing, secure code review, etc. And also you have security engineering, which talks about GRC, governance, risk and compliance, right? You would have learned. So all this is going to accelerate because the number of cybersecurity incidents the last 5 years, I had numbers in with me, around 50 to 60 times is increased. The cybersecurity the incident and the investment in the cybersecurity is one of the priority for all organizations. Even though they put the capping on the capex, etc., cybersecurities are always given exception because two reasons. Whenever any breach happened, the amount of time and efforts you are going to invest in recovering is pretty huge. And you cannot afford to any downtime of a production, right? It can impact your revenue and more important, the brand image. The brand image you have constructed over several years can bring it down with one cybersecurity incident. And the ransomware attack, it's now pretty prevalent, right? So the ransomware attack, when it comes, the strategy which the cybersecurity criminals are doing is that they have a lot of enormous patience than we all. They get into our system, they watch, they monitor the traffic, how it goes, and they stay there in the system for more than a month or two. And they have different terminology, we call it as, right? There are the initial monitoring, then payload, then contacting the control centers, then execution, all those, right? And once they execute and take away your files, your data is the most precious part of an organization, right? The data, when it is lost, you have lost a lot of your brand image, the cost and cost of recovering it will be huge. So the cybersecurity investment and the area around the cybersecurity is continue to grow. And the vulnerability management, penetration testing, and secure code review. These are the three areas what comes in VAPT, right? So this will continue to be there. It will enhance further due to this evolution of cybersecurity criminals happening there, crimes happening there, right? So in governance aspect, vendor risk assessment, the risk assessment which we do, it's quite important. Why? Because there are a lot of integration. Shilpa mentioned about like a lot of third-party applications are now being used in your system. When too many people are working with you and collaborating with you, it also exposes how clean is your APIs exposed, right? So this is all an area where vendor risk assessment, GRC plays a key role there. So cybersecurity, all three areas, whether it is a PK, ADAM, GRC, VAPT, all is continue to grow in the coming years. Yeah.
Thank you. So I will take two more questions, and in between I will give you some time. I will ask one question also to Anup. So what are the three top skills that you will be looking from a fresher?
Very interesting question. So typically, we have the recruitment drives. We actually go to different colleges to actually get the interviews, right, done. So one of the main things that we observe now, right? Typically earlier it used to be like assessing people on their basic skills, saying that okay, do you know Java? Do you know XYZ programming language? How is your aptitude and the stuff like that? Today the things have actually completely changed. How do you even actually look at a resume? That is different, right? So if you ask me, I look at their GitHub profiles, right? So each computer science person doing engineering in the third year at least, they will have a GitHub profile that will get created, right? A Bitbucket or a GitHub profile, and they will actually have projects there. The way they have their logical reasoning and the way they have actually conducted written their code, solved problems there, that is a direct reflection of what we should actually look from that candidate, right? And GitHub is so powerful today, it can also tell you that whether it is actually a copied code from somewhere else, right? So the essentially what I'm trying to say is that irrespective of whether it is a fresher or whether it is an experienced person or a mid-management person, right? It is always the quality of problem that the person can solve will actually get, is something that we look at the most when it comes to an interview process, right? Now, from a technology skill point of view, obviously, the skill set which Shilpa mentioned and the Selestin sir mentioned, right? So, in terms of actually understanding of your basic technical literacy, that's very important. We should actually, somebody actually can say that, okay, I know a data science language. It can be an R or a Python. That doesn't matter. But if the logic is there, then that person can actually sit and learn the Python language in a month or so, right? You actually have only 4 or 5 courses which you can do, and then you know Python, right? So that's about technology, right? The main aspect is actually to know what kind of problems that you can solve. The last thing that I would actually say is that typically people come in the interviews and say that, okay, I am a back-end developer, right? That doesn't work anymore, right? You need to have the ability to solve that problem end to end, right? That's where the full stack development and the stuff etc actually come into picture. But full stack development is only the technical part of it, right? You must have the ability to understand the problem, understand what is the if technology, as I said, is just an enabler, right? If the technology was not, abstract the technology out and understand how in a fictitious scenario you should have actually solved that problem, right? And then apply technology to it, right? So the example that I took earlier, right, in terms of somebody submitting a transaction and in a banking scenario, and if he is not getting an acknowledgement at there and then and there, that itself, based on the amount of the transaction that he has done, the kind of experience that I am going to give to the customer is actually horrific, right? The person who is actually transferring a 10 rupee might actually be okay with it, but if he's actually transferring a 50,000 rupees, then that experience is going to be horrific, and it is not going to give good experience from a platform point of view, right? So the choice of technology will actually differ in both these cases, right? The problem that you're solving has to actually align with what is the kind of technology that you're using. Would you actually go and use an API in this case, right? The same example that I mentioned, where you get the immediate acknowledgement back, or would you actually push that into a queue and get flow it through a Kafka, and you can actually have a delayed response coming in, right? So or you will actually dump a file at the end of the day or between 2 hours and expect a response back, right? So these are all the choice of technology is actually in the problem that you are solving. So if I were given a choice, when we actually conduct interviews, we look at the quality of problem that the person can solve, the technical literacy that the person has, the concise way in which people can actually solve the problem, and the kind of mindset, right, to learn new things. The technology, as both of them have actually mentioned, we have actually grown in every day. We can actually see new technologies, but the underlying capability hasn't really changed. The need hasn't changed. If you understand the need, then you can actually understand the technology as well. So these are the things that we typically look at when we look at a resume, irrespective of whether it is a fresher or a experienced person. And yeah, the level of problems that you can solve, yes, that will actually vary a bit when it comes to a fresher versus a mid-management or a senior professional.
Okay, thank you. So how many of you don't have a GitHub profile? Please raise your hand. No offense. If you don't have, please raise your hand. That's it. Okay, okay, only one. All right. So which means that you are one step closer to Zafin. Okay. Yeah. So one question on skills. The last question on skills. Anyone?
Sir,
Yeah.
let me introduce myself. I am Biju. The question is for Anupkumar sir. Sir, I have always wondered whether cryptocurrency will overpower our real currency. I would like to know if that will happen. Will that be in our near future, or it will take so much time, etc.
Yeah, see, again, the problem is not about the cryptocurrency as such, right? There is whole lot of other use cases that cryptocurrency solves, right? But if you really look at the Indian scenario itself, right? India, we already have e-rupee, which is already there, right? So why would you want to actually have cryptocurrency when RBI themselves is actually giving you an e-rupee, which is digital in nature? You can do the transaction, right? Everything is actually possible, and on top of that, you actually have all your conventional technologies available in terms of transferring the money as well, right? So cryptocurrency, will it actually become a reason for somebody to actually ditch the actual money that we are using, etc.? In the near future, I don't think that is actually happening. There was a wave that was there. It actually subsided because of money being a thing that you need a lot of assurity, right? You can actually play with many other things, but you will not actually play with your money, right? People require one confirmation, double confirmation, 3 times confirmation before actually making a payment transaction, right? And that, if not backed by a central bank in that respective country, it's very difficult in that case, right? And many of the central banks don't want to do that because of the reason that people can actually really lose money out of this process. So in the near future, no, but yes, it will actually happen. At least the technology that is behind that, yeah, that is anyway getting used in many other capabilities. Your hyperledger is being used in all the accounting processes which the bank uses today. So hyperledger technology is being used, and it will continue to evolve as we actually move forward.
So thank you. So coming to the pathway, so they may be a fresh graduate stepping into the IT industry. So they also have to shape their future. So I think Shilpa, you are the right person because you are the person who was in the same company, is in the same company for 24 years, and you know what are the skills that takes you from one role to other role, and right now you are the center head. So can you share some of your thoughts on that? What are the pathways that should have in the future?
First and foremost, every time we've been emphasizing learning mindset. That is very, very important. What skills or what role that you play today is not what you play in next 1 year or 2 years. So every 1 year, 1.5 years, you are progressing, and for that you need to have the learning mindset. You need to take up opportunities that comes your way. So any good opportunity that works on your career, you should take it up, irrespective of the fact that you are not confident, and you feel that you do not have skills. You will get to that, right? So you will finally get or acquire that skill to get to that role. But taking up the opportunity, taking up that one step is very, very important. Then I would say, we probably, for us, we need to do a lot of networking, right? So we will have to do networking within the company, outside the company, in our forums, webinars, and all of that, right? So networking plays a very key role to understand what's happening in and around us. We may be stuck with a role, but we need to understand what's happening outside, how I have to pivot myself into that new opportunity that's coming your way, or that I see is more interesting. The other one is you will need to find out what are your passion, what is that makes you happy in your career, right? What is that you want to do, which area is what you are interested in, and then figure out a way. Always have seek I would say seek feedbacks from wherever possible, right? It could be your manager, it could be your friend, it could be your somebody in your network. Always seek feedback and work on those based on that. And a mentor in your career will always be helpful. A mentor inside the organization, outside the organization, wherever. whoever you think can be your mentor is very much necessary to progress on your careers. Basically, it is learning and moving ahead. It's not a choice that every one of us now have. It is a necessity now.
Okay, thank you. So submitting up like so continuous learner, grab the opportunities, network, and then take feedback and improve. Okay, good. So I think you don't. There is one surprise. So you know that all the audience is Gen Z. We are interacting with Gen Z, and then when we conduct a platform program like this, there should be a Gen Z component. And I think all we experience is maybe the Gen X component, and there is a Gen Z component. So it's a surprise. I have not. So we have 3 individuals sitting here, and it's nothing but there's a rapid fire for the panel members. 10 questions. You should answer in one word or maybe yes or no. So who's going first? Celestin. Okay. Anandu, come. So it's, three individuals are having that question, so they come and yeah. So take my role.
Good evening, all. Myself, Anupkumar N, and I'm pursuing my data science in ICT Academy. So, my first question for Selestin sir, it is, what was your first job title?
First job title, as I said, I was in Air Force. Yeah.
Second question is, what was your favorite achievement?
Achievement, yeah, one of the things which I still hold to my heart is, there are 2 things, sorry. One is the commendation we get it from Air Force, which we put it on the left side. So I got a UCNC commendation for implementing the IT in Southern Air Command. Here you have Southern Air Command. That is one. And second one I was invited to Dubai to present in a global CIO conference, which is attended by 38 CIOs from across the globe. So that was something.
Okay. What was your most challenging role?
Challengingly, every role is challenging. So there is challenging role could be a role without any job.
Okay, sir. What was your top priority in network design?
Network design, priority network design. Okay, could be on the latest like SD-WAN, like how to implement the SD-WAN, and this is something I could remember.
What is your favorite tech trend?
Tech trend?
Yeah.
Okay, Gen Z questions. Tech trends, the social media. I think this is something, it was not there with us, and now with you today, we are now learning.
What's your top productivity tool you would consider?
Top productivity. Yeah. So, like DevOps, etc., we use Jira. Like Jira is the one which we generally use for the DevOps platform, and that is the one I could recollect.
And next question is work-life balance achievable?
So this question I always get it, work-life.
It's a yes or no question.
Achieved, yes or no? Yeah. Okay, yes.
How do you define leadership style in one word?
Lead from the front.
Okay. What is your best career advice? That too in one word.
I told that before. Never stop learning. The moment you stop learning, you retire.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Last question is, how do you describe Gen Z in one word?
Gen Z is one word, very exciting. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Anandu. So who is going? Anup or Shilpa? Yeah, Anup. Okay. Who is that? The Namita. Yeah. One word, yes or no? It's a rapid fire, right?
Good evening, all. My name is Namita. I'm a cyber security analyst student. So, can we begin, sir? Yes. Okay. Skill or attitude?
Attitude.
Okay. Remote work, is it effective or not? Yes or no? Remote
Yes.
work.
Remote work. No.
Okay. Most impactful technology trend?
Maybe hyperledger.
I didn't get it.
Hyperledger.
Data science or enterprise architecture?
Enterprise architecture.
AI, is it a threat or opportunity?
Opportunity.
Top priority in solution design, security or scalability?
Security.
Okay. Cloud or on-premise?
Cloud.
Process re-engineering, easy or difficult?
Difficult.
Key to building a strong team?
Compassion.
Trivandrum or Chennai?
Trivandrum.
Okay. That's all. Thank you, sir.
It's a very interesting question. Okay, so when I did my BTech, I said that I am not going to two places. One, I will not work from Trivandrum. The other place is Chennai. These two places I will not work. And exactly these are the two places I work from.
I think all these questions are created from your profile as well as some of your interests posted in the shooting. Okay, so thank you, Namita. And last but not the least, Kartika, come.
Good afternoon. So I'm Kartika from Cybersecurity Analysis course. Can we begin, Shilpa ma'am? Best career advice in one word.
Best career advice: learn, keep learning.
Okay. Proudest moment in one word.
I'm proud of that.
Okay. Your key to motivation.
It's more of self-motivation. Sometimes you go down, so get up and move on.
True. So innovation is a process or culture.
It's a culture.
Most exciting emerging technology, like you're excited for.
I'm looking forward for the AI, what scopes that it bring in and where can we apply.
Okay. So future of remote working. Like, is it having a bright future or?
It is in an Indian way, in an Indian environment, it is not having a bright future, but yeah, we will continue to do some form of remote work.
Favorite leadership book.
I'm not that a book reader, but one book on Amazon had been a very insightful one.
Okay, ma'am. So your mantra to be productive or to be a hustler?
What is that?
Your mantra to be productive and be a hustler.
Be a productive or hustler. Yeah, be on it. Give your best and understand the problem and target on that problem.
Okay, ma'am. Career or passion comes first?
Career for money, passion for your own happiness.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Anantu, Namita, and Kartika. I think we are in the concluding stage. Maybe the closing remarks starting from you.
No, I think that's fine. So I like the last part. It should have been there first to energize the people and us around. So thank you so much. And it's a wonderful occasion to be here and good discussion as well. And as I said before, let's continue to have this kind of engagement with industry leaders. This will help us to understand what's the gap currently industry is facing and where ICT can play a role and bridging the gap. So looking forward to more such sessions. Thank you.
Thank you. Sanu, your closing remarks.
Yeah, so my last words is that, generally as freshers, right, hesitate from saying no. Right? That's one thing that I would actually give as a advice. Generally, people have different kinds of notions in their mind. Say, for example, starting with different roles, right? So testing is inferior. The aspect of development is actually a back-end job. business analyst is actually kind of front end role, and then customer representation, and what all, what not, right? But essentially understand that some of these roles are actually very critical for an industry like IT, right? A tester is the only person who knows the backbone of the entire thing working together, right? Nobody else knows. Developer only knows to actually write the code. The person who is actually utilizing the software only knows the beautiful screens in front of him, but the tester knows both inside and outside, right? So maybe in some circumstances, testing is one of the best job that you can actually get, and then from there you have your innovation that you can do. Your aspirations can actually take you to the next stages, right? So absolutely, try to avoid say no unless it is very very much not aligned with your career interest or anything of that sort. But generally, don't say no. Take all the opportunities that come to you, and essentially be a problem solver. Just don't run around technologies. Technology is important, but as an enabler.
Okay, thank you. Shilpa.
One last word probably is the importance of a teamwork and collaboration that will come your way as people who are in colleges and still learning. Your individual performance is what matters for you. But when you work in a team, when you work in a project, when you work with customers, it is a team work that defines the success of that. Even if you are a superstar, but if your team is lagging behind, the project is a failure. So teamwork is very very important. The collaboration with other team members is very very important. So that's key, and as we have been emphasizing, keep on learning, and lifelong learning is what is required. But thank you, ICT, for all the opportunity and wonderful conversations here. And all the best to all of you.
Okay, thank you, panelists. I think essentially you shared your views and hope that all of you have received it in the right sense. So as a closing note, I would like to share one of the videos that I watched in the recent times and that actually touched me. And it was a speech that was delivered by Roger Federer to one of the closing ceremonies or graduation ceremonies. And he said he played almost 1,500 matches in his entire life. And he won more than 80%, close to 80% of the matches. And then when you counted the number of points he won only 54% of the points. If you know tennis, and if you need to win a set, win a game, you need to score 4 points. And you need to win 6 games to win a set. And you need to win 3 sets to win a match, at least. So he won only 54%. So take it like 50, only if he succeeded 50 times, 50% of the times in his attempts. Still people call him as a god, greatest of all time. So you can still become a great personality or a legend if you fail in 50% of your attempts. So don't worry about failure. If you try to do new things, you may fail. Like Shilpa mentioned, if you fall, stand up and walk. So hope that all of you will be doing that. So appreciate failure and learn from the failures and move forward. Thank you all.
So that was a wonderful event. Wasn't it interesting, guys? So before we move on to the closure of the event, I would like to give some token of appreciation to the rapid fire participants. So I would like to call upon Karthika on stage. Shilpa ma'am will be giving a small token of appreciation to Karthika. Next, I would like to call upon Namita. Yes, you can give her a big round of applause. Anupkumar will be giving her award. Next one will be Anandu. He will be receiving a token of appreciation from Selestin. Thank you so much. So I'd also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to on behalf of ICT Academy to the panelists. And also, we are formally closing the event by delivering a vote of thanks. And I would like to invite Crispin J. Fernandez, Assistant Manager from Corporate Operating Unit, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Before we move to the vote of thanks, I would like to request Riji sir, Sreekumar sir, and Manoj sir to come up on the stage to give a small token of appreciation to our esteemed panelists. So as a small token of gratitude, we are giving a small gift to our panelists. So Manoj sir will be handing over to Shilpa ma'am. A small token of gratitude to Mr. Anup and to Mr. Selestin. Thank you so much, sir. As we conclude the insightful and engaging industry readiness panel discussion, I feel privileged to extend my heartfelt thanks on behalf of the ICT Academy of Kerala. First and foremost, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to our esteemed panelists, Ms. Shilpa Menon, Mr. Anupkumar, and Ms. Celestine Thomas. Your valuable insights drawn from your vast experiences have provided us with a deeper understanding of the industry landscape and the career navigation. A special thanks to our moderator, Mr. Riji N, for steering the discussion so effectively and ensuring a very key aspects was covered with clarity and precision. I would also like to thank Mr. Sreekumar K.V for his welcome address and Mr. Manoj A.S for his keynote address, setting the tone for today's discussion. Finally, I extend my gratitude to all of you for gathering here for your active participation and the engagement. Your presence and involvement was what made these events truly successful. Once again, thank you all. Have a great evening. Thank you.
We are concluding today's event. So before we leave, we have a high tea. We are inviting all of you for the high tea, which is waiting outside the hall. So thank you so much once again for being here.